Federal courts not open today, and we do have a development in the concealed carry case that was decided by a district judge and put up to appeal, but the appeals court kicked it back. Some pretty interesting things happening there. Welcome back, Illinois in Focus Daily. You be sure to like, subscribe, hit that notification bell, and stay up to date. Of course, we've been tracking the gun ban litigation in the Southern District of Illinois Federal Court. No updates, really, since the conclusion of the bench trial in September. So they had 30 days to file briefs on text, history, and tradition. So we'll see when those briefs get filed. Could be on the deadline that they're supposed to file, which I believe is either the 20th or the 21st of this month. And then we could possibly get a ruling from Judge Stephen McGlynn at some point thereafter. But there's another case we've been tracking as well, and that's the case challenging Illinois' prohibition on concealed carry when it comes to mass transit. That's the Schoenthal v. Raoul case. And this is an interesting kind of timeline where we're at now. But the latest development is that the district judge has amended his judgment to make it more clear to the appeals court as to what his decision was. But this case was filed back in 2022, and the case being one challenging the ban of concealed carry license holders who get a license from state police to carry concealed firearms. When that law was passed a decade plus ago, the state did put some parameters on where people could or could not carry firearms. One of those being public transit. 2022 rolls around, people sue. In the Northern District, they file their briefs. And then the federal judge in late September, actually, no, it was late August. So late August, federal judge declares that the prohibition's unconstitutional here in Illinois to prohibit individuals with concealed carry licenses to file to be able to carry on mass transit. So the state then motioned for an appeal, but they also motioned for the federal district judge to hold his order pending that appeal. But in that motion, they essentially said that, not a direct quote, but how it was interpreted by the judge, that 3 days after the judge's order in this, 4 people were shot and killed on a Chicago CTA blue line. So the judge reading that demanded they come back into court, chastised the attorneys for trying to link the judge's order about lawful concealed carry holders that sued having their Second Amendment rights violated, having nothing to do with people getting murdered on a CTA. And if you recall, we talked about this in some detail. The judge demanding to know whether or not the assailant in that case had a concealed carry license, whether he shot those 4 individuals for self-defense purposes. Answers did not come from the state defendants in this. They had no answers. And then the questions also went into how many concealed carry license holders have been arrested for carrying concealed firearms in mass transit. They didn't have an answer for that. How many people with concealed carry have actually used that concealed carry on mass transit to protect themselves? They didn't have an answer to that. But ultimately, the judge, after grilling these attorneys, not sanctioning them, but grilling them, he denied their motion to hold his order. But the appellate court had already said that the order from the judge in the district level was deficient, and they kicked it back to the lower courts to clear that up. Well, on Friday, the lower courts, the district courts in Chicago, did indeed clear that up. So here is the filing that was made on the 11th. It says plaintiff's request for injunction relief is denied. The court enters judgment in favor of defendants Rick Amato and Eric Reinhardt, and the claims against them are dismissed without prejudice for lack of subject matter jurisdiction. So they were terminated from the case. But the court enters judgment in favor of Benjamin Schoenthal, granting declaratory relief against Kwame Raoul, Kimberly Fox, and Robert Berlin in their official capacities that the Firearm Concealed Carry Act's ban on carrying concealed firearms on public transit as defined by the statutes violates the Second Amendment as applied to Benjamin Schoenthal carrying a concealed firearm for self-defense on Metra and on Metra's real property to the extent necessary to ride Metra. The court enters judgment in favor of plaintiffs Mark Roboleski, Joseph Vessel, and Douglas Winston, granting declaratory relief against Kwame Raoul and Kimberly Fox in their official capacities that the Firearm Concealed Carry Act's ban on concealed carry firearms on public transit as defined by the state statute violates the Second Amendment as applied to to Mark Roboleski carrying a concealed firearm for self-defense on Metra and on Metra's real property. To the extent necessary to ride Metra, Joseph Vessel carrying a concealed firearm for self-defense on Metra and the CTA and Metra and the CTA's real property. To the extent necessary to ride Metra and CTA, and Douglas Winston carrying a concealed firearm for self-defense on Metra and CTA and on Metra and CTA's real property to the extent necessary to ride Metra and CTA. Signed, Ian Johnston, Federal District Judge, October 11th, 2024. So it looks like the judge in the district courts making that clear and sending that off back to the appeals courts as the state's expected to take this all the way. So that's just the latest update here. Of course, it's a federal holiday, so no federal courts, but we will be watching to see developments in this case, but also other cases challenging Illinois gun laws. It's right here with Illinois in Focus Daily. Like, subscribe, hit that notification bell. Join us each and every weekday morning as we break down things for you to know to get your day going. It's right here with Illinois in Focus Daily.